I don't know how to express myself. What am I doing? Because I'm doing everything in the office. I'm an organizer, I'm the recruiter, I'm the case officer, jack of all trades. I'm also a counselor, counseling workers when they start to cry in the office. Those especially who are dismissed, they cry a lot. So I have to console them and tell them that everything will be fine. Yeah, but for now I can just say I'm an organizer, and I am also an assistant general secretary of the organization, which is SATSAU. SATSAU is a South African Domestic Service and Allied Workers Union, which fights for domestic workers and educate workers about their rights and take their cases maybe if they are dismissed, and do it ourselves in the office. Then if it's not easy for us to resolve it, we take the cases further to CCMA.
Okay. So then we can start then with our interview. As the Comrade Maki explained, it's just going to be a profile, basically meaning you're just going to get the backstory on your life, you know, how you got into your union and what you're currently doing, and just information basically. And we're going to record all of this and put it on our website, write an article, and feature you in our new publication. So basically, let's start off with your background information. You know, who's Mam Eunice? Where's Mam Eunice from? Ukhulele kuphi, you know?
Yeah, Comrade Mam Eunice was born in Natal, KZN, the place called Danhauser, not far from Newcastle. And ke ngafunda khona isikolo sangasifunda khona while our parents were here in Joburg. We were staying with our grandmother. I'm saying we with my young brother. We were staying with our grandmother and went to school in Danhauser until such time where my mother, our parents, wants us to come and stay with them here in Johannesburg. Then we came and stayed here in Johannesburg. So I am a married woman, although for now I'm my husband passed on. Ubaba wabantwana, umkhulu wabantwana, wabazukulu. Yeah, he passed on in 2005, and I'm a widow for now. And with 2 children, I had 2 boys, and I had again the other 2 from my husband's brother passed on together with his wife, and then I stayed with their I adopt their children, but not adopt as the Lord does, just take them to be my children because they are my children. Yeah, so today they are also fathers of their own homes.
That's beautiful.
And I got grandchildren also. Yes.
Okay, so our second question is, how did you become a domestic worker? So what led you to that path where you had to now become a domestic worker?
Yeah, when I grew up, first of all I can say those days, the apartheid days, it wasn't easy to get the job, especially the factory shops and the factory workers and other work. It wasn't easy, so I thought any job that I can find, I'll take it. So my aunt, my my father's sister came and fetched me because she was a domestic worker. And then she took me to the other employer who was looking for somebody to clean the house. Or maybe not permanent, to help while the worker is gone home. Then I was going to assist there until she comes back. Unfortunately, she never came back, and the employer likes me because I was still young and fast and do a lot of things. So that is where I started. I never went back. I just carried on, find another job, the one from after another, up until 1986.
Okay. So you say until 1996. That's when you stopped.
1986.
Okay.
When I stopped to be a domestic worker.
Okay. And then why did you stop?
A lot of reasons. Number one, while I was a domestic worker, I was very active in this union. I was one of the committee members. I was the secretary of the committee, because the committee of this union are workers themselves. I was still a worker, and I was a secretary of the committee of the branch. So then my employer, where I was working, didn't like although they don't say, you can feel it on your body and you can see the action. And when she talks about the unions, she didn't like it. But myself, when I started to work for that kind of an employer, I told her that, look, I'm the mother of children and I'm a married woman. Those days the woman or the boyfriend was not allowed to stay with you in the room. But when I get there, I told them that, yes, I'll work for you, but I'm a married woman. I cannot divorce my husband because of the job. And I got children. I would like my children to visit me on their school holidays. So I can say she pretended as if there's no problem. But when the time goes, then it wasn't right. So the worst part of it, unfortunately I forgot the book, The Talent for Tomorrow. I made that book with Sue Gordon, who was with DWEP. DWEP is another project where we started as domestic workers union. DWEP is domestic workers and employers project. So there was Leah Tutu was beg your pardon. Sue Gordon was a secretary, I can say, secretary of DWEP. So it's her who came to me and said, let's do a book. So then my employer saw that book. She wasn't happy. That is where she started some bad actions. And I was just told that it was September. She says to me, now is September.
What
know
is this?
that September 1985.
Okay.
In September 1985, I was told that, look, it's the end of September now, I'll give you your salary, and then November will be your notice. For what? And she started to cry because I want to have a letter of dismissal saying why I'm dismissed. She started to cry that day until the end of October. When she sees me, she used to cry all the time. Just because I wrote that book with Sue. My story was there in that book. But she didn't say. I just thought maybe it is, because I was telling it as it is. about the employers in South Africa. So at the end of October then, I was given my money, my salary. That time, I was earning 600 rands. And 600 rands was a lot of money that time as a domestic worker, because most of domestic workers were earning 100, 150, 200, 300. So I was earning a lot. So I was given my money, my notice pay, I beg your pardon, my salary, because I know that I was working for the notice, and my leave pay. Then I went. So it was October that time. I came to the office of SADWA and tell them that I haven't got job anymore. And then I was told that, can you come and assist by cleaning or doing anything in the office and tidy up some cupboards. And so I did that November and 2 weeks of December. And my organizer told me that, can you please come back in January and bring your CV. It wasn't CV that time, just in, what do you call it? Just a letter asking for the job. What do you call it?
Application.
Application.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought my application.
Okay.
And she didn't even read it. She just said, go and work. Go and start and work, because they know me from that time while I was a worker. I was in the committee. When I'm in the office, I used to do a lot without anybody ask me to do. When I get to the office, then I help. I do assist. January, in February, I started to work fully. I was an administrator when I started to work there.
Okay. So that was in 1986.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that the year you joined SATSAO?
Joined the offices of SATSAO to be in the office, not as a domestic worker.
Okay. So no, that's good. So just to go back quickly to when you were a domestic worker, what were some of the challenges you faced or you realized that domestic workers had to go through when working for their employers?
It's a lot. And number one is, as the domestic workers of those days, although our mothers, they used to say, my mother used to say, you are a domestic worker, my daughter, but you are better than us, than them, that time. But there was still that kind of ill treatment. Number one is the one that I told you about. Your husband or your boyfriend is not allowed to come to this, to stay with you in my property. And I didn't like that word, my property. It discriminated because Mina, I haven't got a property, I'm nothing. My property, this is my property, I don't need it. And your children, they can just come as you ask when the school holiday, on their school holidays. Then so I didn't like all those such things. And the other stories that I was, when we were together as workers, sitting at the park, we talk a lot and asking a lot of questions from each other. How does your employer handles you? Then to find that really it's not right. But what can I do? Because there's no job. I'll work up until it comes. I worked for 8 years for the last employer. Up until then, I said, well, it's enough. Then that is where I came to SADWA. It was SADWA.
Okay. So when you moved on to SADWA or SATSAO, were there any challenges you faced there, particularly maybe as a woman now, since you're not a domestic worker but you're an administrator? were there any challenges now that you had to go through as a woman, particularly when you were there?
I don't understand the question.
You know, sometimes in the workplace,
Yes.
as a woman, you might be undermined by men, or maybe when you get there, it's not maybe because you're a woman, or just maybe the environment there, or the people that you had to deal with, because you say that you work with domestic workers. So maybe the employers that you were talking with or trying to handle conflict resolution or whatever the situation may have been. Were there any challenges that you faced while you were there, or while at South?
Although I don't know if I will answer it on the right way. Yeah, a lot of challenges. Then, even now, a lot of challenges like discrimination, as I said. The employers, they think because they got the skin, the white skin, but it's not white, it's blonde. They call themselves white. They think that you as a black person, you are nothing. And then they were not they, even myself, we were not treated fairly. And money also, money-wise, we are earning peanuts. While you work from morning until at night. We were doing work, I beg your pardon, without counting hours. As long you are working, up until, especially when they got visitors, you'll work maybe until 12 o'clock in the night. Serving the dinner, washing those dishes and pots, and then you'll go to bed round about 12:30. And in the morning, you're the first one to come in the morning and say, here is a cup of tea, madam, and doing children's breakfast and the whole family's breakfast, let them go. And then if there are children, take children to school or to crashes. But money-wise, they don't count the hours, they don't care. Especially when you have been doing the late night job, or maybe the babysit. They come back, some they call it stay in. When you do the babysit, they will come back very, very, very late. But in the morning, they won't say, because you went to bed late, we believe you are tired. They don't care. If you are late, you'll be told that this is my house. You must do what I want in my house. Lapayagui salary, really, it wasn't easy really to talk to the employer. Most of employers at that time, they didn't want to sit down and talk to the worker, to discuss some things that you don't like. So it wasn't right for me. Yeah.
Okay. So now that you have been a domestic worker and you've moved on to Satsao, what are some changes that you really wish to see going forward, or that you've been working on, for domestic workers? What do you want to be changed?
If maybe in labor department, I was going to change everything.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see workers to be handled like human beings, not like they are doing. Although we are in 2000s now, there are still those employers who still holding on that old style of them, to not think for a worker that she or he is also a human being. I would like to see things changing, be handled like human being in the house. I don't like this thing of, these are your plates. This is your pot. Yes, of course, we like to cook our own food. I like milipap. I cannot eat rice every day like them. doesn't matter. But I don't like this thing of maybe if I took plates, their plates, use their plates, and then you find that the employer is very angry because you used their plates. If that thing can go away, really, I'll be so happy. And again, to sit in the lounge and watch TV, they don't like that. But they never bought you a TV or anything to you or for your room. So if all of those things can go away, we're all human beings. It reminds me again the case that I had a week ago, where the employer was discriminating a worker, and then I said this, but I didn't. I'm the kind of person who doesn't want to say bad things to anybody. But when it comes to employers, I get very angry when the employer plays her or his tricks in front of me as an organizer. So I told the employer that look, I hold her hand, I say, look, your hand and mine are the same. Only the skin. Under the skin, there's blood. If you can cut my finger or cut wherever, you'll find same blood. Your blood is red like mine. So I don't think it's the right thing to say that to a worker. So the employer doesn't want to be told like that. She so get angry. So I think all those things need to go away and be paid a living wage. And follow what Department of Labor says. Accept the laws of today. Most of employers, they don't want to comply to these laws. I wish they could comply, and workers must work the right hours. If the worker works more than 45 hours per week, they need to be paid the overtime. So if all those things can just go away, I'll be so happy.
Okay.
So you're saying, Comrade, that the domestic workers still faces a lot of discrimination by the employers. They still work under bad conditions. Ill-treated, discriminated against.
Yes.
So they are underpaid.
Underpaid also.
So do you think the union is doing enough, to address all these challenges?
Although it won't be that very easy to me to answer that question, because I'm inside that union, but we are trying our best. But it falls to the deaf ears. They don't care. And they even say, when you talk to them, sometimes when I'm on radio or TV, and then when they ask questions, they say, this is my property. No one will tell me what to do in my house. They still don't care. So now I think, yes, us as Satsao organizers, we're trying our best. But the employers themselves, they don't want to comply to these new laws. They're still backwards about what, but they don't want to. If a worker or myself as an organizer talk for a worker, saying that increase the worker's salary, they are not afraid to say, go and ask that to your president, and they call him or her by name. Go to Mandela and ask her to give that increase you're looking for, not in my property. That number one is rude, and it discriminates. This is our president, not mine. Even you yourself as a white person, it's your president, like it or not. So all those things really, if the employers can just stop doing it, if they will, I don't know.
So, if you were to speak to someone who's a domestic worker and they were to ask you what are some of the signs, or how can they see that they are also being abused or exploited by their employer, what would you say are some of the signs where a person can see that, you know what, the people that I'm working for, something is wrong here?
It's very easy, my love, because if somebody, let me make an example. If I came here and greet you funny, just hello, how are you? You can see that hello, mama yakula. What is wrong with her? You must show the oomph. Be healthy, upile. And if I've done something wrong, you need to tell me properly that I don't like this 1, 2, 3. And it's very easy for a worker to see that something wrong with my employer, especially on domestic workers, because for the first time when your employer to be interview you, you'll sit with her in a lounge, asking questions in her own lounge, sitting on her sofas or whatever you're calling it. And then when she started her new things that you are not allowed now to sit in my lounge, in my sofas, and all that, you can see something is going wrong. Something is wrong here. The first time I was allowed to sit on the sofa, all of a sudden I'm not allowed, just because you're black. They don't say that. I'm adding it. Why you don't want me to sit on the sofa? Really, if the employers can they just treat us as workers like they are dogs? Maybe you just wonder why I'm saying like they are dogs. They are dogs.
So they treat their dogs better than the domestic workers.
Yes. A dog can eat on employer's plate, but you as a worker, you can't. When a dog is sick, they run like mad, somebody, like a headless chicken. Take the dog straight to the vet. You can see they are worried. I'm not saying they mustn't, because really it's their pet. They need to look after that dog, but the way they run. But if yourself as a worker say, Madam, I got a headache, she will go to her cupboard and give you 2 teaspoons. 10 minutes time, are you better now? Or maybe she will just tell you that you're supposed to be better. I know these tablets are very strong. They don't give you a time, 1 or 2 hours to pick up. Maybe it was something that needs you to sit down or drink water. You'll be fine after an hour. No. In 10 minutes time, you are better now. These tablets are very strong. I know them. When I take them, I feel fine quicker. So what's wrong with you? That is why I'm saying, employers, please treat us like your dogs. When it's raining, the employer will open the door so that the dogs can run in the house. But yourself, she can send you to the shops while it's raining. Without umbrella, you cannot use the employer's umbrella. But when I'm saying this, my comrade, not all employers are like this. Phone last night and say, I don't want to go to CCMA, I'll bring the money in your offices. So I feel very happy to see a worker happy because you won her case. And again, the other thing that I like is I feel happy to, let me start here, every Saturday we call it the education class for workers, for domestic workers, where we educate them about their rights. So I feel very happy sometimes when I see a worker stand up in front of other workers and educate them about their rights. It shows me that I'm a very good teacher. And again, when a worker comes in, you know, domestic workers, I don't know other workers, domestic workers can cry. She can cry when she enters that door, standing there. When she comes down, she's crying, I'm dismissed, whatever. So I feel very happy to try and console a worker and see that now she's come, she or he. Because both they cry, men and women. They can cry, those people. Then I managed to, most of the time I managed to calm them and start to talk, because we can't talk while you're crying. So I feel very, very happy for that. And I'm very proud for myself that now I can face the employer. I can face the employer and tell the employer what is good. If you dismiss the worker, do 1, 2, 3. And I'm happy that I can say no, because before it wasn't easy to say no to the white men. Now I can say no, that is wrong. If you are paying this kind of a money to a worker, it is wrong. Then it's easy for me to say now, like before. It's not like before.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that you have classes on Saturdays. Where those classes held, if maybe anyone is interested in coming or want to attend?
In our offices.
And where are your offices?
It's number 84 Frederick Street.
Okay, in Johannesburg.
Yeah. We are accommodated by SAMO. The building is written SAMO House.
Or SAMO House.
SAMWU.
SAMO House in Joburg CBD here.
It's not far from
No?
here.
Okay.
5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes to.
Okay, well, that's all I have. I don't know if anyone else has questions.
No questions.
Okay.
Well, I think we managed, to cover a lot of ground. And Comrades Eunice, as detailer, we would like to thank you for making time,
Okay.
to also educate us about the conditions of the domestic workers. Because sometimes it's easy for us to take things for granted,
Yes.
and think we know about the life of the domestic workers. Okay.